So in this section I'm going to show you some best practices for where to put your default frame marker, followed by how to do your preview frame marker for various workflows for XPression. So we'll start with the default frame marker, and for that, to explain what they're for, it's when you have your, say, various animations for transition logic. Obviously, when the rule is true or false depends heavily on which scene directors will play. So you'll have a number of scene directors that actually are static. And at that point, if they are, for example, here, what you may find is during your transition, you may have a problem where your background or your text disappears, or it might go to the wrong position. So to deal with that, what you can do is you can force the scene director to be in a specific place when it's not playing. So that would be the, and I'm right clicking on the time here, I'm going to markers, default frame, and set. And if I don't get that in quite the right place, I can just redo it and set it there. So that is the default markers. I recommend using them sparingly at first. If you put them everywhere, then you will actually have conflicts, and you may not be able to tell what is causing what issue. So I generally start with none and add them in where needed. As a general rule, putting them on your ins is generally a safe bet at the end. So I'm going to just do that in this case to make sure those are all in the right places. So let's just go through. There we go. So those are our default markers all set. So let's have a look how those look. So you should see the same behavior as we had before. So and if we play, we get our correct behaving back-to-back logic. Okay. So now we've placed all of our default frame markers, we're going to look at preview frame markers. They are for a different function. These are for controlling your thumbnails you see as a preview here in your MOS and your NLE. And also, quite importantly, what you see when you are working as an operator on the sequence side. As you can see here, this is my preview, which I can play through, but the holding frame is where I use my preview frame. And these are, the reason why these are key is because they are actually interactive. And I can then just type directly into them rather than having to look down the side, which here I've only got two, so it doesn't matter too much. But you can imagine in quite a complex scene, it's quite nice just to be able to click and go directly to the field you wish to edit. So how do we place those? Well, there's two ways. Number one is go to the animation in your scene directors that you want to. So I'm going to play this through, for example. We get to the end and we can right click and place a preview frame marker at that location. Just to show you what happens if I put it in a bad place. Preview, set. Now we've only got a thin line which matches this. And if we go back to the end of our animation, we're going to get that right there. Set a preview on the end, and this is going to update. If you find your thumbnail doesn't update, you can actually regenerate all thumbnails by right-clicking and saying yes please, and then you'll find you have a nice preview just like we saw before on here. Excellent. And if you're wondering, oh well, my thumbnail was fine anyway, as you can see these do not have the preview, it's because that's where I left the last animation. What that preview does is overrides that. So if someone goes into the layout side and leaves it in a mid animation state or the beginning of an animation, say I leave this scene in layout like this, it means that my thumbnail doesn't move to where that playhead is. It leaves it at the good place where everything's in view. So, final stage is I'm going to add a little extra bit on the end here about NLE workflow and how to make your scene director for that. So if I take my in animation, I'm going to duplicate this, and I've now got a copy of my in, and I'm now going to take my out animation because I want to make a symmetrical version of my in and my out and put them all back into one timeline. For those of you that are used of the non-transition logic way, this is probably going to be fairly standard, but I'm just going to explain why I'm doing it. First of all, I'm going to get rid of this trigger, so I don't need that for the NLE. And then I'm going to get a copy of the text in animation controller from my animation controllers list, and the L3 in. I'm just going to make it overlap just the same as the in does, and of course it's important that we reverse those. And now we're going to end up with, I'm just going to close this down so you can actually see what I'm doing. We end up with a very quick in and an out. And if you wanted to, you could place your preview frame marker in the middle there. It's actually going to look much the same as the where it is at the moment, but we'll do it anyway. Preview frame, set and close. And when it, even though this is very fast, when it gets placed into the NLE, it will take the middle frame of your animation and stretch it out. So it's important to make sure you have a symmetrical animation. Now, some of those of you who've been using the newer versions of XPression will know that we actually have a more advanced version of this now, using center frames, in and out sections. If you want to know more about that, there's actually a dedicated video on the XPression U showing just how that works in a lot more detail than I've just gone into now. So you can go and check that out. Thanks for watching. That's been transition logic and some extra skills at the end there, just about markers and good practices. Thanks very much.